180!
So Dolan wins the ball and will throw first, as it is all weekend, first to 6 legs.
Well, can't get a better dart than that from Brendan Dolan. Absolutely dead centre.
95.
Didn't really get anything from that perfect dart, but like you say, Gary Anderson, you know, just flicks them in. And we do talk about Gary with, you know, the one flaw that he does have is missed doubles, and he says to us, you know, don't keep mentioning it, but he actually mentions it more than anybody. You know, we've been at Crondon Park, you know, with all the players and him included for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and then Ireland. So, you know, you get to talk to them an awful lot about their game and what's going on. So,
well, that's a great looking dart for Gary Anderson, and you fancy to follow with at least one of those 2 darts, but doesn't manage to do so. Make the most of his shirts, by the way. I think his spell of wearing that particular brand of fashion may be coming to an end.
60.
that's a shame, isn't it? I mean,
Well, I think that one's a more muted version than some of them I've seen. Actually gave me one of the jackets at the match play, made me wear it. Within 10 minutes, I'd been abused by 3 strangers in the street.
you certainly identify Gary with those shirts, that's for sure. But he's identified more for his brilliance on the dartboard than the shirts, though. And this is the game where, you know, he's got to be careful. He's got to stay focused because, as I said, you know, the rhythm won't suit him.
85.
We know that.
Brendan, you're 112.
But Brendan Dolan, you know, as he's proven in this leg, you know, he is no mug. And I keep saying it, people don't give Brendan Dolan the credit for how good he is. Do you know what, Dan? He was on the verge of packing up darts before that Grand Prix.
56.
Just shows you how your life can change on one result.
Yeah, he was going to go, used to be a decorator, of course, so he's going to go work with his brothers, basically doing up houses and up and down a ladder all day.
I now work with his brothers and he's playing darts.
Gary Anderson right behind him here, but Brendan Dolan looking at double top for the first leg. That is a wild one.
16.
Not adjusting anywhere near enough. So Gary Anderson looking to step in and get one against the throw. It's a well thrown dart and a decent marker for him, and that was a long way off.
It was a bit of a tug, weren't it? I mean, the first dart at the top's absolutely perfect, sitting on the top wire. You're thinking, I've just got to pitch it into the darts. It's in the double top. All of a sudden, it's 2 inches high. So Brendan Dolan doesn't give up a second chance, though. Brendan shakes his head. I don't know if he shakes his head of, you know, disgust that it wasn't a great leg. But as we say so often down here, you know, the first leg especially, who cares how many darts it was? Who cares about the average? You know, that's worth as good as a 9-darter.
Brendan Dolan had a relatively stress-free win in his opening match, beating David Venkin 6-1. It was Andre Velga who was overcome.
171.
Fantastic work by Gary Anderson. Trebles all over the place. A 6-4 winner over Andre Velga, the German, for Gary Anderson. And the winner of this one will play David Pallett, who was scintillating in knocking out Dave Chisnell earlier on. Gonna have their hands full, whoever comes through this one, if Pallett plays anything like he did this afternoon.
It was a great game. Took the game to Dave Chisnell. Chisnell was chasing the whole match, and a little bit of nice arrogance from David Pallett. I like to see that, you know, making himself into a bit of a character, doubles out and what have you, and yeah, good game, enjoyed that.
Yeah, it looks great when it works, doesn't it? 145 for Gary. He's hit the ball, so 75 left.
73.
Made a bit of a hash of it, but all Brendan can do is try and set it up.
Well, yeah, a 140 here, and Gary comes back to the board and just has one dart at a double, misses, and then Brendan takes out, you know, the shot. This is how games turn around, or even the 101. Go for the treble 16, leaves double 12. Oh, good clean kill from Anderson. That's what you want to see when Gary Anderson's playing. If he starts picking off them doubles like that, then you could be in for a good night, an entertaining night from the Flying Scotsman.
Yeah, certainly in full flight, he is a absolutely awe-inspiring player to watch. I remember seeing him at the World Championships on his run to the final, where he inevitably, well, not inevitably, but ended up losing to Adrian Lewis. There were little sessions there he'd come out, win 6 legs in a row in about 5 minutes. Just terrifying stuff. 12 darter, 12 darter, 13 darter, 11 darter.
He did it. It was actually against Colin Lloyd. You know, he won 2 sets in, well, records. I don't think they'll ever be beaten. Poor old Colin didn't know where it was going. I mean, Anderson would put 2 darts in the treble every single throw, like he has done just now. Again, a beautiful first start from Brendan.
Having trouble following those in at the minute, although that's a great third dart. Good crowd we've got in this evening. 1100 capacity, we're very close to that. We'll certainly be at it for tomorrow when we've got the quarters and the semi-finals and the final all the way in the evening after the 3rd round in the afternoon. Gary Anderson looks to put a big hole in this. 100 would do. Disappointing for him.
158.
Well, Brendon Dolan could get 6 darts from here. He needs to just stay straight. If he doesn't hit a treble, don't miss the 20. Give yourself a dart, perhaps at double 19 when he comes back.
60. Gary require 156.
That's a lovely dart. Gary Anderson wants another one in there and just
85.
pulling it into the 5 there. For that first dart, you really fancied he'd give himself a shot at double 18. Brendon Dolan now can do this in 2 darts. He's going to have to take 3 if he is going to do it. All he can do now is leave himself tops. Well, leave himself double 10.
Yeah, he just overpitched to get it out the way of that flight. He didn't want to deflect. Oh, now it's double 10 for Gary Anderson. Oh, blimey.
67.
That was miles off. A little bit rushed there, a little bit of sweat on his hands. He was just rubbing his hands. So Brendon Dolan comes back, double 10. To take a 2-1 lead. And again, Gary Anderson's had a dart on the double.
Good marker for Brendon.
15.
Oh,
Gary acquired 4.
didn't use it effectively, at least, as Gary Anderson now at double 1. Plenty of room.
No score.
And that's his score, and it's all a bit scrappy round the edge of the board with these 2 to start off with. Anderson looking so assured with that 72 check out in the previous leg. Brendon Dolan now, double 2, and that is a long way off.
3 score.
Oh, my word.
Gary acquired 4.
Well, nearly weren't on the same dartboard, them 2 from Brendon. So Gary comes back again. He's having to move to the side just to pick off the right-hand side of that double. Now he's back up to the 1s. And we've got another one of those games, Dan, where no one wants to win it. And, it, you know, for Gary Anderson against the throw, and he's had plenty of darts to do that. So now Dolan, double 1, aim at the top wire, put it above rail, straight in. That's a relief for Brendon Dolan.
4th leg is Gary to throw first. Game
Well, he's been let out of jail there, Brendon. And Gary needs to put that behind him and put a big score on the board, but 21 is not what he wanted. And Brendon Dolan now, a real opportunity to seize the advantage here.
100.
Solid ton from Brendon. Anderson getting stuck in. That's the Anderson we know and love. 180 for Gary Anderson.
Makes it look so easy when it's like that, doesn't it? And then you often wonder how he throws bad darts when he makes it look so easy.
140.
So it's a good reply. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, despite that maximum, Brendon does have an opportunity here. A 140 would be very welcome. A 180 would be even better. Just shifting across the hockey. I think that's just low.
81.
Well, 81's not quite enough for him.
Well, you mentioned early on that Brendan's getting the first dart in the treble and not using it. So Anderson has started to. Well, he's got to think. Pitching at least a ton or a ton 40. Anderson will only get a dart at double top. Well, Brendan's going to set this up really well, and he's put the pressure on. He's asking the question of Gary Anderson. Treble 20, now a 20, and he wants double top. He's going to have to move to the left. Oh, brilliant. Absolute brilliant dart from Gary Anderson. Kept him in the match.
Game on.
Yeah, fantastic work. He only had the one chance. One dart at tops, straight in.
60. 60.
Dolan just lining up. It's low there. Want to come over the top of it.
60.
Can't quite find that treble bed. There's another visit without a treble.
55.
There was a chance there for Anderson to get a few points in front on Brendan Dolan's throw. But he's not really punishing any bad shots of Brendan's.
100.
And finally we see a big treble registered in the fifth leg here. And Gary Anderson has got straight in there. And there's plenty of room for another, and he can't quite find it.
Well, Brendan Dolan's first start again, sitting nice in the treble. He's not following it up.
100.
You can see there, you know, he's disappointed with that. Most people are happy with a ton, but when the first dart is in that treble, they're expecting at least one more. Gary just has a quick look over to see what the score is.
95.
Coming down the board, Dolan.
99. Gary acquire 151.
Now, it's a big one. And it's not going to happen. What is he going to leave himself with?
28.
Well,
Brandon, you acquire
shocker
82.
of a visit.
Yeah, it hasn't really pressurised this 82. Bullseye or 25. Now 17 will leave the double top. This is for a 3-2 lead. And the fifth leg on the trot, held by a throw.
62. Gary
There was an
acquire
outside
123.
chance for Anderson, but the 19s is the route. Well, he can't take it out now. And that's a long way off, although he's going to set it up perfectly. You know,
83.
that treble 7's a long way off that treble 19.
Yeah, and it's followed that very poor visit previously. Just 28 scored. That meant it was always going to be a big ask to go out there, and Brendon Dolan
Brendon Dolan. Six legs,
holds
Gary
on to his throw,
Game on.
and it's 3-2. Anderson now coming down from the 19s.
131.
And once again, we see him going up to the 18s and hitting his target.
You just keep expecting Gary Anderson to have that little run, don't you? You know, well, I say a little run, something's going to be 3 or 4 legs. As Brendan Dolan now,
140.
score. You know, sometimes it lasts 3, 4, 5 legs where he just rolls them off level, you know, 12, 13 darters. And you just keep
100.
expecting that to happen.
Yeah, he's irresistible when he gets going. Brendon Dolan is matching him here.
99. 85.
Dolan setting himself.
And that was at the 18s. He was looking at the 18s there.
41.
So Gary Anderson's going to get 6 darts from here. Just needs... Well, he's going to set it up absolutely perfect. Comes down for the 25 to leave double top. It'll be a 13 dart leg. That's a lot better. But what he's got to do, he's got to throw one of them on Brendan's throw.
Well, this is going to at least apply some pressure. Brendon Dolan, a ton 40. He will be waiting to come back on 81 if Gary can't take out this 40. Double 10 and up to double 5. And there it is, last dart, Gary Anderson. You do wonder sometimes when he starts chasing those doubles around the board that it might take him more than just one visit to see out the leg. But not in this case.
100.
On his throw, Brendan just keeps plugging away with a treble in every visit. Just making it a niggly situation for Gary to get in front and win. Do you know what I mean? You're playing against a bloke that just, as I said, he doesn't look exciting, but he just keeps hitting the scores.
There, he's not giving anything away easy. He's not throwing any 20-plus dart legs on his own throw to let somebody just stroll to a break of throw against him. He's making Gary Anderson hit something big, and something big is what he's going for here. And just looking to force it off the barrel of those first two. Ended up forcing it between them, really.
Well, a visit without a treble, I was just about to say that. And Brendan again just nicks the treble with another throw. But a 140 here will give Anderson a good lead in this leg. That will do him. That's given him a nice lead. Now, you've got to fancy Anderson to take the 1-4-1 out in 6 darts. Can Brendon Dolan, because he's going to get the first attempt, and he needs, if he hits a treble, no, will he go to the 25? He's staying on the... Yeah, again, Dan, you know, the last dart in that treble.
Well, 1-4-1, he must take this out all the time in practice, because the amount of 9 darters that Gary Anderson
105.
does on the practice boards and at home is ludicrous from what he tells you. But he's left himself 36, and Brendon Dolan 105, 98 now. It's not ideal, but he's got double 19 to hold his throw, and he gets it. And once again, Brendon Dolan finds one perfect dart. Well, 2 perfect darts in this case. The treble 20, as good as the double 19, and 4-3 he leads. And just when Gary Anderson thought perhaps he'd done enough to get that break of throw, Brendon Dolan shuts the door in his face.
Yep, he's a cagey old player, we call him.
140.
He really is a solid player, really nice guy as well. And he's just on his throw, he just keeps nicking that one treble with every throw and then taking out the shot, and that makes him extremely difficult to break the throw of him. And certainly now Anderson is finding it very frustrating, I can imagine.
Yeah, 105 checkout when you sat on 36 to break the throw.
100.
It's a real kick in the guts, all the hard work he'd put in that leg, Gary Anderson. All for nothing.
32.
And now he's got problems holding his own throw because Brendon Dolan has stolen the darts.
He certainly has. So Brendon Dolan, one of those trebles in these 3 darts would suit him very well.
60.
This time he hasn't, so an outside chance, but Anderson's 3 darts away. Needs to hit a couple of trebles. One's not enough. That's better from Anderson. He's left a bogey, but he had no choice.
.85 left. Trouble 15. Well, he's hit the 2.
141.
Dolan looking at 141. This would be an absolute sickener for Anderson. And put the Northern Irishman within a leg of the 3rd round. And he wanted treble 19 for double 12.
But what's happened to Gary's score here? He hit the 2, so instead of having guaranteed dart at a double, it may only be at the bullseye, which it is only going to be possibly at the bullseye now. Oh, and he's missed the big 16. So he ain't even going to get a dart at the bullseye. Brendon Dolan, 2 darts at a double to break the throw and to go 1 leg away from the victory.
Well, this may prove to be the decisive moment of the game. Brendan Dolan, there's the 20 you wanted. He's got 2 darts in his hand and double 16, and he only needs the 1. And Brendan Dolan, a clinical display here.
Game on.
We're not seeing any fireworks from the Northern Irishman, but we're seeing enough. And Gary Anderson, he's only hit the 180. He's flowing, scoring, natural best hasn't been evident as yet. He has to find it now, or something approximating it.
But Dolan has made it very tough for Anderson here. You know, on his throw, you know, he leaves 36, he takes out the double 19 for a ton plus. You know, things like that just hurt you. Doing them at a certain time in the game is really crucial, and that's what Brendan Dolan's done. You know, the 140, Gary gets a little bit in front, Brendan comes back with the 140 to say, well, I'm with you. You know, played a good, solid game as Brendan.
A gritty performance from the man from County Fermanagh. Michael Mansell, his mate, already into the 3rd round. Again, we see him in the treble bed with a final dart. Just keeping his nose in front. Gary Anderson. Wow.
137.
Gets him back alongside him. Just edging ahead, but Brendan Dolan with the darts. He knows a ton 40. Put him within touching distance of the 3rd round. And 140 is what he's got. He's already taken out 105. He'll be back to look at 101 in a moment. And what kind of pressure is he going to be under? Anderson just readjusting there for a second and hitting a 140 of his own. And Brendan Dolan could be 3 darts away from the 3rd round. And a scalp of the former Premier League winner, the current world number 18, Gary Anderson.
81. Gary across 70.
And the pressure is on Anderson here. Surely he's going to be forced to take this out. He wants double top. And double 10.
Game shot the 9th leg.
Oh, what a great last dart that was from Anderson. Really needed it. You knew Brendan Dolan wouldn't be missing the double coming back. He's not missed anything like that. So now Anderson's back in this game, got the throw. But he's still going to have to win these last 2 legs.
Explain that one, Rod, where he switched down to the 19s and then got back to the 20s and hit the treble 20. He's evidently had plenty of room in there for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's strange. It's just all how you feel. You go down and it's Brendan Dolan. It's a maximum. It's just how you feel, and you get the flowing players like Anderson. They switch all over the place, and sometimes you think for no apparent reason. It's just how they feel comfortable. That's how they play the game. You know, sometimes you know, obviously you get blocker darts. But to have a blocker dart on the 20, go to the 19s and then go back and hit a treble is strange. You know, you normally see him go to the 18s. But
60.
Well, irrespective, he managed to hit that treble 20 with his 3rd dart. And it means that he does still have the edge in this match, despite Dolan, on this leg rather, despite Dolan's maximum. Although 162 is a bogey, so if Dolan can put a big one in here, give himself a chance of breaking straight back. 100 you would think is not going to be enough, and 60 certainly isn't. So Gary Anderson, 6 starts from here to make it 5-all.
He's got to go 25 now. Wants the bullseye on the 25. Mile on the 42. That leaves him double top. Brilliant darts. Sets it up absolutely perfect. In the first game of the evening here, Saturday night. Certainly now looks like it's going to go to a decider.
Well, we have seen some tense and thrilling games so far that have gone to a sudden deciding leg. And Gary Anderson relying on that double 10 again for the second leg running. It's 5 apiece. Dolan still has the advantage though. He will be throwing first. However, Anderson, having won the last 2 legs, checkouts of 70 and 40, will be looking to make it 3 in a row.
I can't understand why Brendan's staying there. And you can see by the third dart the way it hit the first one, the reason why saying that. Same with Anderson. Now Gary is pretty good at going around the side, but this time he's going to have to. There's a massive chance there for Anderson at 140, and all of a sudden, the ball's in his court. But he's let Brendan off there, and Brendan's going to keep plugging away.
99.
Anderson into that treble bed, and you fancied him to follow it.
80.
A little bit disappointing from the Flying Scotsman. They are neck and neck. Dolan. Tongue just popping out of his mouth with each shot.
60.
Always does it, his little quirk.
There's another time there where you feel that Brendan should have switched after the first.
100.
It's a better third dart from Anderson. Keeps him in the mix. It's getting down to that edgy scores. The first one to put in a real massive score gets the advantage in the first darts at the double.
100.
Oh, once again, sneaks one into the treble bed. Gary Anderson, what he wouldn't give for one of his trademark maximums here. And the first dart, it looked like it was on, and that's got a great move over to the 18s. And that gives him a chance here. All Brendan can do is try and set it up. Not ideal for him, moves across the hockey. What a dart that is.
Yeah, it is. This time he has found the treble. No, brilliant darts. Again, I thought he should have switched, and he this time picks off the 2 trebles. But this is a chance for Gary Anderson. Is that in? It's double 10 for the match. Oh, and he's been hitting that double 10 really well in this match. But he misses it, and Dolan comes back to the board. 10 for double 16, or is it 2 for double top? Double 16, and he's going to get 2 darts for the match. He only needs 1. He really did play a solid game, didn't give away much on his throw to Gary Anderson. And he walks away with a 6-5 winner of the first game of the evening.
Yeah, Gary Anderson hit double 10 in the 10th and 11th leg to level things up at 5-all, but it was double 10 when it was there begging to be hit for the match. It was at his mercy for a 1-2-8 finish, but Brendon Dolan is the victor. He moves into the 3rd round where we'll face David Pallet.